John Cottrell here. This is Power Hour Yoga. So this is a 60-minute Power Vinyasa Yoga practice. So let's get right into it. So if you're joining me, wonderful. So glad that you're here. Go ahead and roll out your yoga mat, get some bottled water and a couple of prompts, and I'll talk about what you might need for this practice. So I thought we'd borrow from the Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga Practice from the primary series. We're going to do a short segment from that primary series that's basically called wide-legged forward fold. And there's 4 versions of that posture. In Sanskrit, it's Prasarita Paratadasana. Now, you don't have to remember that. There's no quiz at the end. But it's basically just 4 versions of a wide-legged forward fold. So this is great for your legs, your hips, your back, but also a little work for the shoulders. So in a sense, your whole body. So it's a wonderful practice. So here's some things that you might want to use for your practice today. I like to use a couple of blocks. Actually, blocks might come in handy because part of the work we'll be doing forward folds. And so if you don't want to go all the way down to touch the ground, you can always use something like some stacked books or blocks as a way to just rest your hands on there rather than going all the way down to the ground. So some blocks can come in handy. Now, I don't have one, but you can certainly use a yoga strap. Part of our warm-up will be some floor stretches, some seated forward folds, and you can certainly use a strap for that. And then some bottled water, and we're ready to go. So let's go ahead and begin our practice together. So I invite you to stand near the top of your mat with your feet about hip distance apart and your toes pointing forward. This is a nice way to begin the practice. Now, of course, this isn't a wide-legged stance. So we're really getting the legs parallel to one another, straight down from hips, knees, and ankles right down to the ground. And once you've established this mountain pose, you can start with a few deep breaths. You can breathe in through your nose and exhale through your nose or out through your mouth if you'd like. A few more like that, just to establish a reconnection, a reacquaintance with your breath. And of course, we're reminded that breath is the foundation of our practice. It will help us to move and flow, help us to generate a connection with our bodies. Part of our work today will be some lengthening and stretching and really just feeling good. So breath will assist with that. And of course, breath helps us just to hold in stillness. You can even think of this as a meditative practice, just standing in mountain pose, perhaps with your eyes opened or closed, moving inward. Slow, deep breaths. Very nice. As you're breathing in, you just want to feel the breath rising up to fill your lungs. You want to feel a little taller too, a nice lengthening in your spine. Then exhale, draw your navel inward toward your spine. Nice engagement here. Part of our work will be some engaging in your center body. So again, as you breathe in, feel breath rising, filling up your lungs. Nice lengthening in the spine, feeling a little taller. And exhaling, drawing navel inward toward your spine, that light contraction of your abdominal muscles. Nice connection to center body. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths just like this, preparing your body to move. And when you're ready, inhale and extend your arms overhead. Reach nice and high, big stretch. And exhale, we'll fold forward. So a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to as you make your way down. Bending your knees more might allow you to touch your toes. Inhale, slide your hands up your legs, perhaps to your shins or knees to extend your spine, only rising up halfway. This is half forward fold. Then exhale to fold back down, perhaps touching your toes. And if you're able, a nice release of your whole upper body. Just hang heavily forward. Sometimes we might call this ragdoll. And since some of our work today will involve shoulders, give your shoulders a little bit of a shake. Or even roll your shoulders. Roll them backward. Roll them forward. Even a little movement in your head. Maybe nodding yes. Shake your head no. In this nice forward fold, we start that
Lengthening down through the backs of the legs, down through the hamstrings, even some release in the low back. Getting ready to stand, go ahead and shift your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, feel like you're sitting down. Look forward, that should re-extend your spine. Weights in the heels, extend your arms out to the side, drive your heels into the ground, standing up tall, straightening your legs. Reach up into the air with a nice inhale, and exhale, bring your arms down by your side, finishing the sequence. Hold here in stillness, take another deep breath in and out. That's our half salute to the sun, and we're just going to repeat that. Whenever you're ready to move, inhale, extend your arms all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, leading with your heart, fold forward, hinging at the hips, bend your knees, make your way down. Inhale, sliding your hands up the legs to extend your spine, rising up only halfway. You'll form like a table. Exhale, fold. Once again, we'll just pause here for a few moments, releasing through the back, hips, shoulders, legs. Shifting your weight back now into your heels, bend your knees, feel like you're sitting down, lowering your hips, look forward. Sweep your arms out to the side, rise up, standing tall, straight legs, straight arms up into the air. Exhale, arms back down by your side. Returning to mountain pose, find stillness and find your breath. A couple of deep breaths here in stillness, keeping this connection. Very nice. Let's go ahead and continue. We'll add on and move into Series A of our Sun Salutation. Here we go. Inhale, reach all the way up, big stretch. Exhale, fold forward, all the way down we go, soft knees. Inhale, rise up halfway, find that nice extension of your spine. As you exhale, bend your knees, let the back round, place your hands on the mat in front of you, step both of your feet back, or walk, or even hop both feet back until you're in a long straight line, plank pose. Top of a push-up, take a breath in. This exhale, we'll take a shortcut. We're just going to bend your knees, lift your hips up into the air, taking that shortcut to downward facing dog. You might need to take a little step forward with your feet, perhaps adjust your hands. With that hand adjustment, you might spread out your fingers pretty wide so you form a nice strong base, and just press firmly into the ground with the whole hand. Feel the energy in your arms, right up to the shoulders. Keep the knees soft. That will allow you to have mobility in your hips. Feel your hips continue to lift up into the air as your hands press into the ground. That will extend the spine. As you're able, not completely necessary, but if you're able, just kind of sink your chest down towards the floor. Just a little bit there. You might feel a bit of a sensation of sorts in your shoulders and maybe your chest. And then back out of that. Do that one more time. Kind of sink the chest gently and slowly, and then back out of it. One more time. A gentle sink, and then come out. All right, hold in stillness. Take a full breath in. Fill up your lungs. Exhale to engage your belly. Walk, step, or hop both feet, returning to the top of your mat to forward fold. Inhale to extend your spine, lengthening. Exhale, fold again. Shifting weight into your heels. Bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Grow tall. Reach up into the air. Exhale, arms back down by your side. All right, that's our Series A. Let's take it to Series B. Here we go. Inhale, reaching all the way up, straight arms. Exhale, let's take chair pose. So imagine you're sitting back into an imaginary chair that's behind you. Inhale here, reaching outward through your arms. Exhale, diving forward, making contact with the ground or your toes or just your shins. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs to help extend your spine. Exhale, bent knees, rounded spine, hands to the floor. Walk, step, or hop, both feet back. Plank pose. Breathe in to extend. This exhale, bend elbows, squeeze them in towards your ribs as you lower your whole body down towards the floor in a straight line. Inhale, press into the floor with the hands, straightening your arms so you feel the heart and chest reaching forward, gaze forward here. Exhale, tuck your toes, lifting your knees and then hips up into the sky. Downward facing dog. Spread out your fingers. Let's just set this up. Pressing firmly into the ground with the hands, strong straight arms, energy in your shoulders and back, lengthen spine by keeping the hips rising with softness in the knees. Here's our lunges. Inhale, extend right leg up, reaching long, straight line. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat or near right hand. Turn left heel to the floor behind you. Put some pressure in that back foot, extending your spine right over your right thigh. Inhale to rise up, hinging from hips, reaching up into the air. Exhale, hinge forward to bring your hands back down to the ground. Let's step the right foot back to meet the other. Plank pose, bend elbows, squeeze them in towards ribs. Bring your whole body down. Inhale, upward facing dog. That's the open chest towards the front of the room. Long legs, pointed toes behind you. Exhale, lifting hips up into the air. Let's set it up again. Just take a moment. Spread out your fingers. Press. Strong straight arms. Soft knees, hips rising, lengthen spine. Here we go. Inhale, extend left leg into the air. Exhale, let's guide left foot to the top of the mat, landing. Right heel plants down behind you, extending your torso over left thigh. Inhale, rise up. You'll be facing forward. Reach up into the air with the arms. Exhale, hinge to fold. Bring your hands down to the ground. Step left foot back, meeting the other. Finish your sequence. Bend your elbows, coming down. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Another pause. Once again, make those adjustments with feet, hands, strong arms, soft knees, lifted hips. Okay, just one time you'll sink the chest and then back out of that. From here, we'll take a seat. You can just kneel down to take a seat or hop forward, cross your legs, take a seat in the center of your mat, and then go ahead and roll down onto your back. Once we're here, bend your knees, plant your feet into the ground. We'll take a few moments here, really as a little resting point. So you can return to the sensation of breath. Nice deep breaths. Feel your whole back just melt into the ground. Very nice. Just a little pause. And soon we'll use breath to regain that energy in the body and continue our flow. So we're moving into bridge pose. It's a back bend. Start by breathing in deeply to fill up your lungs. Exhale completely, drawing navel down towards spine in this case, engaging your core muscles, and then lifting hips up into the air. Then you might take your shoulders and get them underneath you a little bit if you're able. So you might need to rock your upper body left and right several times, getting your arms and shoulders underneath you. I'm going to give you some options with your hands and arms. You can just keep the arms straight and just on the floor. Here's another option. Bend elbows at 90 degrees. Press down into the floor with your elbows and triceps. That might even help to stabilize your body. It might even allow you to lift your hips up a little higher. Okay, here's one more variation. Bring the arms back down so they're straight on the floor. And underneath you, if you can, and if you're able, interlace your fingers, fold your fingers underneath you. That might allow you to get the shoulder blades to squeeze together a little bit more. Breathe deeply. It's a wonderful way to open up through the chest. It's a shoulder opener here too. And it's also a preview of one of the postures that we'll be doing in our practice. 2 more breaths. All right, if your fingers are folded underneath you, release. Wiggle your toes forward just a little bit. Extend both of your arms straight up into the air. We're just making space in the low back and shoulder so we can get out of the pose. Roll your way down slowly back down to the ground. Go ahead and draw both knees into chest. Start to rock carefully forward and back. Generate good energy through breathing. And with a good exhale, rock your way up to seated so we can come to boat pose. So boat is like a V shape in the body. We're kind of leaning back, but the spine is straight. Now the legs can be straight, but you can also do this with bent knees, which I'm doing here. Energize the feet and legs by flexing your feet. You can even hold on to the legs here to help lift yourself up. Just notice if you might be sinking or collapsing into low back or the middle part of your back. See if you can lift up as if you're rising up and out of the pelvis. This is our boat pose. Okay, let's move. We're going to breathe in first, As you exhale, cross legs, hands in front of your cross legs, and step or jump back into plank pose. Hold, nice strong straight line. We'll take a shortcut to down dog. Bend your knees, lift your hips up into the air. Downward facing dog. Make some adjustments. We're going to move right away. Let's go ahead and inhale, extend right leg up, nice and straight and strong. Reach through your toes or the balls of your foot. Exhale, guide right foot to the top of the mat, stepping through, landing. Left heel turns to the floor, grounded back there. Lengthening spine over, or your torso over the right leg. Inhale, rise up, warrior one, reaching into the sky. In the exhale, turn your torso towards the left side of the room as you bring your arms down to parallel, extending out over your legs. That's warrior two. I like to take my feet a little bit wider here so I can lunge a little bit deeper. Alrighty, so a nice knee bend in front. This is starting to get a little closer to the wide-legged forward fold. But in this case, we have a knee bend here, which is really going to help us get into inner thigh. Let's take this to side angle. So reach forward, reaching out over the right leg. Angled upper body, rotate the arms. Right arm comes down while the left arm reaches straight up into the air. Kind of getting a left side body stretch. Let's hold here for several breaths. Meanwhile, we have that left leg which is straight. The whole foot's grounded behind you there, that left foot. And make sure, if you're able, you feel the outside edge of your left foot pressing strongly into the ground. Let's stay in the posture, but bring this left hand down behind you, maybe just to your low back right here, or even to the left hip. A few circles with the shoulder, just kind of loosening up in that area. And then maybe 2 or 3 times, and then hold it back behind you. I like to say that your shoulder is behind your heart. So really heart forward right there. A couple more breaths. Then an inhale, re-extending left arm up into the sky. Exhale, turn. Let's bring hands to the floor. Stepping back, plank pose, strong straight line. It's also a nice way to realign the entire body after that pose. A shortcut to down dog. Softness in the knees, lifting hips up into the air. Other side when you're ready. Inhale, extending left leg up, reaching long, straight line. Exhale, step through with the left foot, landing near left hand. Right heel turns to the floor, make that strong connection. Torso extended over left thigh. Inhale, rise up facing forward, arms straight up into the air. Exhale, turn torso towards the right side of the room, bringing arms down to parallel over the extended legs. Again, maybe a little bit more distance between the feet if you'd like. Lunging with this left leg, so a nice knee bend. Being sure your knee is stacked nicely over the ankle or heel, so that we don't put any extra pressure or tension in that left knee joint, and we get a nice opening in the left inner thigh. Make sure the right leg is straight, the outside edge of the foot is pressed into the ground. Maintain that connection. I call it an anchor. As we reach out over left leg with the left arm here, reaching, then rotating the arms. Left arm comes down, right arm reaching up into the air. We'll hold for several breaths. A dynamic extension of the arms. Another part of the upcoming poses. A lot of the things that we do pretty commonly and repeatedly during our practice, like all these sun salutations, for example, really get us ready for upcoming poses that we like to feature in our classes. Now, bring the right hand down behind you to your low back or your right hip. A few circles just to loosen up in the shoulder girdle there. 2 or 3 times is fine. Hold it back, shoulders behind the heart, your heart forward. Turn sideways, your focus can be towards the right side of the room. It can even be down at the ground at your left foot. You can even turn your gaze upward towards the ceiling. Let's inhale, re-extend right hand up into the air. Our exhale to turn so you're facing the ground. Fold, place your hands on the mat. Step back, plank pose, straight line, realign. Another shortcut to down dog. Bend your knees, hips into the air. A couple more breaths. We're going to take a seat. You can again kneel down to take your seat or hop forward, cross your legs and take a seat. This time you might want to scoot back a little bit because you're going to extend your legs out front. Now this is where you might want to use a strap if you'd like. We're going to do 2 versions of this particular pose. This is our standard one.
with the legs straight out in front of us, kind of mimicking standing in mountain pose, where the legs are parallel to one another, just straight lines coming out of the pelvis. We're going to start with our staff pose. So place your hands on the ground by your hips. Push hands into the floor to help extend or lift up through your torso. Again, we don't want to feel that collapse into the spine, but lifting up. Shoulders roll back. Remember, heart forward. Flex your feet here to engage your legs. Let's take several breaths. Make sure you're looking directly forward, so a nice long neck. Staff pose. The exhale, we engage belly, drawing navel inward towards spine. So we're just holding the posture. You just feel the movement of your breath. All right, we'll take our forward fold. Use your strap if you'd like. You can wrap the strap around the bottom of the feet, or follow me. If you're not using a strap, inhale, reach up into the air. Exhale, start to hinge forward just a little bit, like you're reaching out to get something. And then just bring the hands all the way down till they touch your legs. So we're at a slight angle in the body. Inhale, feel tall and lengthen through the spine at this angle. Exhale, draw belly in, which actually creates a little space in the belt line. And then fold. Just a little bit, maybe just crawling or stepping the feet down the legs towards your feet. Now you don't have to touch your feet or touch your toes. Just hinging forward. Now if you're able to keep the legs straight here, that's fine. But you're also welcomed to bend your knees a little or a lot if you want to. You might want to hold this for several breaths, maintaining lengthened legs or with a slight bend of knees, but also the lengthened spine. But if you'd like, especially if your knees are bent, you might be able to go down a little deeper, and it's okay if you round your back. So mainly we're just feeling that nice extension through the legs. This is version 1. Seated forward fold, which really exposes the back body in this particular posture. We're going to do the reverse in a moment. So if you're holding onto a strap, just release the strap. Reach forward. Inhale, rise up, both arms up into the air, forming this L shape in the body. Reaching high. Exhale, bring your hands down by your side. Plant them into the ground by your hips. Press into the floor just to maintain that lengthened spine. Look forward. So it's just our return to staff pose. Very nice. Go ahead and relax. Alrighty, so we're going to get ready for our kind of that reversed positioning. So we did forward fold, which opens the back. We're going to do another posture which opens the chest, but it also affects the shoulders. It's basically reversed plank pose. So you're going to place your hands behind you. Here's one way you can do this. Just step the hands back a little bit, your fingertips still pointing towards your feet. Put a bend in your elbows and just lean back like this. Make sure the elbows are squeezing in towards each other. Imagine you're holding onto like a beach ball, for example, between the squeezing elbows, and roll the shoulders back. You'll kind of create this little bit of a seated back bend feel. Tip your chin up. Now point your toes. Inhale, fill up your lungs. As you exhale, draw belly in, push into the floor with the hands, straightening your arms, lifting hips like this. So it's a reverse plank pose. Now it's a very strong posture. We're not going to hold this long. Inhale, see if you can lift your hips up a little higher. Exhale, take the seat, coming back down. Okay, so we didn't hold it as long as the forward fold because it's a very dynamic posture, but you can probably feel that not only in the lower section of the body, but in the shoulders. Alrighty, I'm going to turn to face you. We're going to take our next forward fold, but this time take the legs wide. Okay, we are going to be doing this standing, but I thought let's do this seated as well. All right, you don't have to take the legs too wide, just at a comfortable distance away from each other. So we have a nice A-frame right here. And maybe your hands actually place your hands behind you because you still want to use the ground as a nice prop to help lift yourself up. Just pressing hands into the floor, nice lengthened spine. We're just going to take a basic forward fold. What I imagine, just imagine like there was like a fence, like right here. It's not very high. Okay, right about here. And you're trying to look up and over the fence. Okay? So we're going to inhale. We need to lift up through the spine. We're trying to get up and over the fence. Then exhale, pull belly in, leaning forward as if we're looking over that fence that's right in front of us. If you want, you can stay just like this, or inhale, keep pressing into the ground with the hands behind you, still lengthening through spine at this new angled position. Exhale, still hinging forward or looking out over that imaginary fence. Now you can stay like this. You don't have to go down too deep, but here's some variations, okay? Hands can stay behind you. I like this method because it keeps the shoulders back, keeps the spine straight. You can even do one of each, meaning keep one hand behind you and one hand in front of you, just to help stabilize the body, especially if you start to hinge forward a little bit more. It's a nice way to brace yourself. Or bring both hands in front, especially if you're deciding to go a little deeper into the posture. Legs can remain straight, but perfectly fine to bend your knees here. I'm going a little lower, really dynamic stretch, but basically this is what we'll be working towards in the standing posture. Let's take 3 more breaths here in this wide-legged, seated forward fold. If your hands are in front of you, you can even use your hands to help lift back up. It's okay if the back rounds, sitting up nice and tall. You might even get the hands back behind you again, pressing into the floor to feel the torso rising up out of pelvis. Now, it's a lot of work for the legs. We're doing a lot of hamstring stretching, so go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together like this. We get the bend in the knees, getting that stretch out of the hamstrings, and maybe hold on to shins or ankles. Using this as a way to sit up nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale, just a slight hinge forward. You don't have to go too far for this one. Just to get into inner thighs a little bit. Doesn't have to be too engaging. Alrighty, more of, I would say, kind of a comfortable place. Just feeling as if you could hold this for a long period of time. We're not going to, but just imagine that you could. I'm just going to turn sideways again. You'll be able to see that the angle of my fold really isn't that much. But I do feel a light stretch in the inner thighs, but it's not too intense. All right, let's take 3 more breaths. All right, we're going to hinge all the way back up until we're nice and tall. And then just keep leaning back with that straight spine. As you're leaning back, bring the knees together. That should lighten the feet so you can lift them as you return to boat pose, holding onto the backs of the legs. Nice extension of spine. We're not going to hold here long. So inhale, exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back, plank pose, straight line. We'll finish the whole vinyasa, bending elbows, lower the whole body down. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Nice counter pose to all those forward folds. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to go to standing, so take a nice full breath in, fill up your lungs. Exhale, walk, step, or hop. Both feet return to the top of the mat. Extend the spine. Exhale, fold. Weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come up to standing, reach up into the air, and exhale, arms down by your side. All right, take a moment here just to kind of loosen things up, shake things out, and let's return to that shoulder roll. Okay, roll them backward a few times, 2 or 3 is fine, and then forward, circle, and then just up towards earlobes, press down like you're trying to reach down with the hands. Lift through the shoulders, down, and one more time, up and down. Alrighty, we're going to get more into the shoulders here. Follow me. We're going to inhale, take arms up into the air. Reach high. Exhale, slowly bring the arms down by your side, but as they come down closer to your side, start to reach back behind you like this. Put a little bend in your knees, and then send the hips back, heart forward like you're in chair pose, but still reaching back. You can just stay like this, reaching dynamically with the hands and fingertips, but also squeezing inward. Imagine you're holding onto that same beach ball behind you. Stay like that, or if you're able, interlace your fingers. It's okay if the elbows need to bend for this. All right, now the arms or hands can rest. They can touch your low back, but if you're able, lift the folded fingers off the back, reaching through your knuckles towards the back side of the room. As you're able, still feeling shoulder blades squeezed together, opening up through chest. It opens the front part of the shoulders here too. We're going to hold this for a little while longer. This is another step towards our featured poses. Now here's another thing that you're welcome to do, but it's not necessary in this position. So I'm going to sit down a little deeper. I'm just bending my knees, sitting down a little lower. And then I'm tipping forward, so my head is going down while my folded fingers are reaching up towards the ceiling. Now what happens sometimes is that we do a funny thing with the neck and the head. Either we look down, in this case I'm looking between my knees and I can see the wall behind me. Okay, that's going to put a roundedness in the spine at the neck area. Or we might do the other way where we lift our head and we're trying to look forward. So we want to keep it neutral. Nice long straight line through the neck. This is going to create a little bit more space in the thoracic and cervical spine area, allowing for more movement in the shoulders perhaps. And if you can see me, I'm sending my arms up and over my head, sending my knuckles towards the front of the room. They're probably just reaching for the ceiling though. So that's pretty dynamic. All right, I'm going to slowly bring the hands back down to low back, almost relaxing the shoulders a little bit. Release the fingers, let the arms drop down to the ground. Give them another little shake there. Shake your head, roll your shoulders. So we're just in a forward fold. Shifting your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, extend spine, looking forward. Arms out to the side. Let's stand up, reach high. Hold this extended mountain pose for a second. And exhale, bring your arms down by your side. All right, same thing. Let's go ahead and roll those shoulders again. Big. Even shake out the hands, because if your fingers were folded, that's kind of a dynamic sensation in the wrist there. So feel free to wiggle your fingers, circle the wrists, and of course that shoulder roll. Alrighty, let's add on. Back to our flow. Mountain pose. Inhale, take the arms into the air. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, hands to the ground. Step, walk, or jump. Both feet back. Plank, come down right away. Chaturanga Dandasana, bending elbows. Inhale, up dog. Even there, if you can, shoulders roll back. Heart opens, heart forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, extend right leg out, reach. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat. Warrior one, so planting left heel into the ground behind you. Long spine. Inhale, rise up, reach up, warrior one. Exhale, turning torso to the side of the room, warrior two, arms parallel to the ground. Side angle pose right away, reaching out over right leg. Rotate the arms, right hand down, left hand up, but keep reaching this left hand overhead. Keep the arms straight, but just reach over your head. As you're reaching through this left hand, the left foot is still pressing deeply into the ground. Breathe in. Exhale, turn, hands to the ground. Step back, plank pose. Come down again, chaturanga, we're flowing. Inhale, up dog, long legs, pointed toes behind you. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, extend left leg into the air. And exhale, step through, left foot to the top of the mat, right heel plants into the floor, long spine over the leg. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, opening warrior two. Side angle pose right away. Reaching out, rotate arms, reach high, reach low. But follow the right hand overhead. You're at an angle with that arm, just as the torso is. Right foot pressing firmly into the mat. Nice extension, breathe in. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose. Finish the sequence. Bend elbows, lower your way down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do another lunge sequence. Follow me. Inhale, extend right leg up, straight line. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat. Stay here. Okay. We're going to high lunge, which means the left heel remains lifted. All 10 toes are still pointing forward here. The heel does not touch the ground behind you.
but shift the weight back a little bit so the hands feel a little bit lighter. Your spine is straight, your torso is extended over the right leg. Then hinge from hips rising up. Inhale, reaching into the sky. Exhale, lunge a little deeper to solidify the pose. Reach high, lunge low, hug to center. Squeeze the imaginary ball between the hands, even between the knees. Draw belly in. Inhale here. Exhale, open to warrior two. Let's take this to triangle. So we're going to straighten both legs. So right leg is straightening here. Of course, that left leg is already straight. We're reaching right arm over right leg out in front. Rotate the arms. Getting a little bit more hamstring stretch. Nice extension with the arms up and down. Heart forward, hips forward. Deep breathing. Two more breaths. To come out of the pose, we're starting with the bending of the right knee. So lunge, reverse the warrior. So right hand will come up into the air, left hand comes down. You're going to reach up, maybe slightly behind you. Then windmill, bring the hands to the floor. We're going to step back into down dog. So both feet on the floor, hips nice and high. Right away, down dog. Establish the connection. When you're ready, inhale, extend left leg up behind you. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat. High lunge, setting it up, shifting the weight back. Right heel's lifted, all 10 toes pointing forward. Spine is straight, your torso is out over this left thigh. Hinge from hips. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, lunge deeper, still facing forward. Hug to center, arms, belly, legs. Breathe. All right, we're going to inhale. Ready to move. Exhale, opening to warrior two so that right heel does pivot to the ground. Set it up for triangle. We're straightening the left leg. Both legs are straight, arms parallel to the ground. Reach out over left thigh. Rotate arms, reach down, reach up. Hold. You don't have to go down too low unless you'd like to. All right, so the blocks can come in handy here. So the left hand might reach down, touching the blocks. For me, my hand is just at the knee. A couple more breaths. Feel that nice extension that's happening in the left hamstring. This also affects the hips and low back. Coming out of the pose, bend the left knee into a lunge. Reverse the warrior. Left hand comes up, reaching into the air. Right hand comes down, resting on the right leg behind you. And then a windmill, bringing the hands down to the floor. Step back, plank pose this time. Complete the series, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. All right, let's just take a brief pause. Bring your knees to the floor. Sit back into hero pose. Alrighty, I think we're about ready to put together that short sequence from the Ashtanga primary series, Prasarita Paratadasana, or wide-legged forward fold. And there's 4 versions of the posture. Now this is where your blocks could come in handy. Now I've got 2 mats out. If you can see, I have 2 mats. Because I'm going to be turning, okay, for a part of this, so you can see what's happening. So what you may want to do with your blocks is place one on either side of you, okay? So for me, because I'm going to be facing you, I'm going to place my blocks on either side of my purple mat, okay? It's just a way to bring the floor a little closer to you, okay? You may not need it, and also give you some variations of once we get into these postures. All right, let's return to a downward facing dog. Just as we did earlier, let's establish a nice connection. Spread out your fingers, press palms firmly into the ground, flat hands, energized arms. You're on your toes, of course, bent knees, hips high, long spine. Allow the chest to sink a little bit. Come out of that sensation, do that one more time. Sink chest. And come out of that softly. Here's our flow. Inhale, extend right leg up. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat. Warrior 1, left heel plants into the ground. Rise up, reach up. Exhale, open, Warrior 2. I'm just going to keep this moving right away. Side angle. Angled upper body, right hand down, left hand reaching up and overhead. Lengthen. Inhale, follow me. We're going to exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Step back into down dog with the right leg extended up into the air. Basically, you sweep the right leg back and up into the sky as you return to down dog. Next, exhale, step through. Right foot to the top of the mat, high lunge this time. Left heel remains lifted, all 10 toes pointing forward. Shifting the weight to center, extended spine over thigh. Inhale, hinge your way up, reach up into the air, hold. Follow me here. We're going to inhale, lift so we can straighten both legs. Pivot left heel to the floor, turn sideways, arms come down to parallel. All right, stay just like this. The only change you're going to do is with this right foot. You're going to turn the right foot so the toes are facing the same direction as your left foot. So everything's facing the same direction. I call this a star shape. Okay, I'm just going to turn sideways for this. Alrighty? So here we are. We're going to inhale, reach out with the arms, stand nice and tall. Exhale, pull belly in, put a bend in the knees, and then fold. Bring the hands down. Now this is where your blocks can come in handy, that you've got one on that side perhaps, yes? So the hands can come down the blocks or ground. Go all the way down. Inhale, re-extend spine. Rise up onto the fingertips on the floor or blocks. Extending spine, then exhale, fold. This is the first version. So here's that wide-legged forward fold. I like to keep a little softness in the knees, and you're folding forward. Let's hold here a little while longer, and just notice all these sensations. Of course, it's a nice hamstring stretch, affects your low back, but because of the wide stance, it affects not only the hamstrings, but the outside portions of the legs and the inside portions of the legs. So that's why I like this as a nice leg workout. Okay, we're going to come out of the pose. Inhale, rise up to fingertips to extend spine. Exhale, hold right here. Pull belly button in towards spine. Stay here like this. Start shifting your weight back into your heels so you can easily tap your toes. Bend your knees. Feel like you're going to sit down. Okay, with that energy back at the hips that may allow you to lift your hands, extend them out to the side like airplane wings. Then stand up tall. Return to your star shape right here. Once you're here, inhale, reach out with the arms. Exhale, bring hands to hips. We're doing the second version. Hands to hips, just like this. Now, your hands probably came right at the sides. So you're going to change that just slightly. Take your hands slightly behind you. See how my hand is here? And I'm taking it slightly back. Here. Trying to get more of the shoulders behind you and your elbows almost pointing towards the back of the room. You want to keep that squeezing sensation back there. Now, inhale. Look up. Feel like your chest is rising. Exhale, pull belly in, bend your knees, and fold. Slowly fold. And we're going to pause at parallel right here because you might need to adjust your hands here. Trying to keep the elbows behind you, shoulders rolled back. You can stay just like this as you inhale. Exhale, stay here or fold more. Wherever you are, either if you're parallel to the ground or deeper, use your hands and fingers to feel like you're pushing your hips back towards the wall behind you. Really feel this extension through your spine and energy moving through the crown of your head, and neck is neutral. So be aware if you're looking between the legs or trying to look forward. Try to keep the neck neutral. All right, we're standing. Shifting weight back into the heels. Bend your knees like you're sitting. Look forward. Stand up. Let's take the arms back out to the side. Star shape. Inhale. Exhale, just bring the arms down by your side like this. Okay, stay there for a second. I'm just going to change my body position. Okay, so we're still in star shape or with the leg, but the arms are relaxed. Now return to Warrior 2. Turn the right foot forward. Lunge. Arms out to the side. Reverse the warrior. Right hand reaching up into the air. Windmill. Bring hands down to the ground. Step back. Plank pose. Come down. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. and exhale, downward facing dog. So that's the first two variations. Let's get to the other two. Now in the Ashtanga series, it's done a little differently. Actually, you do all four right in a row. We're doing a little bit differently for our Power Yoga class. Okay, here we go. Inhale, extend left leg straight up behind you. Basic flow. Exhale, step through. Left foot, right heel plants into the floor behind you. It's Warrior 1. Inhale, rise. Exhale, open Warrior 2. Side angle right away. Rotate arms, follow right hand overhead. Nice extension down through the right side of your body. Right foot pressing into the ground. Inhale. Exhale to turn. Bring the hands to the floor. Back to down dog. Sweep your left foot back and up into the air. Straight line. Reach through your toes. Exhale, step through left foot. High lunge. Right heel stays lifted. Shift the weight back. Weight is less on the hands. Long spine over thigh. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, lunge deeply. Hold. High lunge. Okay, we're going to inhale, lift so we can straighten both legs, especially that front leg. Pivot and open as if you're getting ready for triangle. Turn the left set of toes so they're pointing in the same direction as the right foot. So we're in our star shape. I'm turning sideways. Okay? All right, here's the third version. Inhale, reach out with the arms. Exhale, bring the arms down behind you as you're able. Interlace fingers if you can, or just reach. But if you can, interlace fingers. Reach down towards the floor with the knuckles. Roll shoulders back. Now, inhale, tip chin up, look up. As you exhale, or as you're exhaling, bend knees and fold. Heart going forward, hinging forward. Lifting hands away from back. Maybe the knuckles can reach up towards ceiling or overhead. Remember, keep neck neutral. That's going to help with the mobility of the shoulders so the arms can go up and perhaps overhead. But perfectly fine if the hands are closer to your low back for this variation. Deep breaths. Be aware of what's happening in the upper body, shoulders, chest, lengthen neck. We're in a wide-legged forward fold. Hamstrings, inside and outside portions of the legs. Coming out of the pose. Starting to hinge your way back up. Using core strength and leg strength. Rising up all the way until you're nice and tall. Once you're tall, release your fingers, reach out, return to the star shape. Fourth version. Inhale, reach out through the arms. Exhale, bring hands to hips once again. You can keep them just like this because this is going to change. Alrighty? Here we go. Inhale, tip chin up, look up. Exhale, pull belly in, soften knees, and start to fold very slowly because as we're folding, we're going to release the hips, extend the arms, make peace fingers with the hands, keep folding, weight shifting into the heels, lift your toes because you're going to take those peace fingers and hook them around the big toes. Once you're down and you've got the fingers hooked, inhale, re-extend spine. Exhale, fold. Now, you can stay just like this. If you're unable for any reason that you can't reach the toes, you can even hold on to the backs of your legs, or if you feel like you need a little bit more balance, place your hands on the ground or use that block. Neutral neck. This is the fourth version of Prasarita Paratadasana, wide-legged forward fold. It's A, B, C, and D. This is D. This is how we'll get out of the pose. Lean back a little bit so you can unhook those toes. Place hands on the ground. Let's inhale, rise to fingertips on the floor or blocks, extending through spine, hold. Pull belly in. Continue to shift weight into the heels. Bend your knees, feel like you're going to sit down. That should take the weight off the hands. Extend your arms out to the side like airplane wings. Drive heels into the floor. Stand up. Straight legs. Star shape. Just like that. Bring the arms down by your side just to relax the shoulders. Okay, I'm just going to reposition my body. Alrighty. Return to Warrior 2.
Turn the left foot forward, lunge. Arms extended out to the side. There's our warrior two. Reverse the warrior, taking left hand up into the sky. And then our windmill, bringing the hands back down to the floor in front. Step back, plank pose. Complete your series, coming down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's hold here for several breaths. All right, we're going back down to the ground. Kneel down to take a seat or hop forward. Cross your legs, take a seat. And once again, go ahead and roll down onto your back. Here, hug both knees into chest. And if it feels good, create some gentle movements here. Whatever feels natural here. I like to rock left and right. Circles feel really good for me. Hips and low back are getting a nice conditioning here. Some nice relief after our work. Deep breaths to accompany the movement. Let's take a hip opener. We're going to do two. This first one, I like to think of it as a variation of happy baby pose. Just holding onto the shins, just like this. And just take the legs wide. That's all. Okay, so basically we're just holding on to the legs as you take them to the left and right side of the rooms. I then like to replace my hands on the inside of the knees, right here, and gently press outward and downward. Out and down. I even like to flex the feet here, just to energize the legs to help stabilize. Here, getting a little stretch in the inner thighs. Then imagine that you're either like riding a horse, okay, or a bicycle. More like a horse because you have this wide-legged sensation. And then, as if you were on a bicycle, pedal the bicycle. So think of yourself on a horse, but it has pedals that you have to circle, okay? Just a little movement in the hips and maybe low back for a little relief. So that's our first hip opener. And then go ahead and take this to happy baby pose if you'd like, holding onto the soles of the feet, taking the feet up so they're facing the ceiling, and then you gently press down with the hands. So the knees feel like they're coming down towards the ground on either side of you. A little bit more of that static stretch, inner thighs. Let's go ahead and throw in one more hip opener, which is a nice relaxing one. It's just a reclining cobbler's pose. So just bring the soles of your feet together and go ahead and bring the feet to the floor. Feet are still touching. Bring the feet to the ground, knees are bent, and then you might even feel a bit more relaxed here. So we'll hold here for a few moments. Deep breaths. Very nice. I'm just noticing how your breathing is steady, body is relaxing, but there's still this stretch sensation in the inner legs. 2 more breaths. Then bring the knees together, give yourself another hug, catch your shins or knees with your hands. As the knees draw in towards chest, feel your low back press down towards the floor. So even though we were in this forward fold type posture, with that active pressing down towards the ground with the hips or low back and tailbone area, you're lengthening through the spine, preparing you for the next pose, which is a twist. So go ahead and take the knees over to the left side of the room as you extend your right arm off to the right. Deep breaths. Very nice. 3 more breaths. When you're done with those 3 breaths, return to center. Just come back to neutral. Take a moment there. You can still hug knees in. Press low back towards the floor to feel that lengthening in the spine. In preparation to take the other side, twist. Spinal twist. Knees down to the right. Left arm extending out to the left. Still feeling quite relaxed. And just knowing that we did some good whole body work, really. Some focus on the legs, good stretching, lengthening and opening, some hip openers, some shoulder release. Three more breaths. And then slowly return to center, one more hug, and then we'll take this to Shavasana. Go ahead and extend the legs straight out in front of you, arms down by your side. Take a nice full breath in, fill up your entire body. When you exhale, feel the whole body relax, this nice melting sensation into the earth. Just settle in here. Complete stillness and silence. Just listen to the sound of your breath. Your eyes can remain opened, looking up, or close your eyes, looking inward. Slow, steady breaths. Complete release and relaxation. This place of deep meditation. You're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. Even as I end the practice, if you feel most comfortable right here, feel free to stay here. Continue to stay focused on your breathing in this relaxed state of mind and body. When it is time to move, take your time. You might even start the movement with the flow of breath. So perhaps take 5 slow, deep breaths. And with these deep breaths, experience movement returning to your body. You might wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, move your feet and your hands. Continue to feel that energy and movement rise through your limbs, through your torso, right up into your head. When you're ready to move, take your time, move in slow motion, and carefully roll onto either side of your body into a nurturing pose. Just here on your side. And still moving in slow motion, carefully press and lift yourself up to seated. Feel free to use a block to sit on, or maybe you've got a blanket. And maybe crossing your legs. Nice extension through your spine, shoulders relaxed, arms down by your side. Hands resting in your lap. Find your breath. And one more movement together. Inhale, extend your arms all the way up, reach high. And as you exhale, bring your hands together and down to your heart. Find stillness and take one more breath in and out. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow saying, Namaste.